If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
You're blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off. Good luck not getting killed.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in Irish. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing. And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello all and welcome to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, located in Nashville, Tennessee for round 1 of season 2 of the Dallara X-TREME Series presented by Baldwin Agriland. In the real world, Nashville Fairgrounds is shrouded in controversy with NASCAR wanting to return to the track. However, tonight in the virtual world, race cars will scream around the track at over 170 miles an hour. Tonight, the IR01s will be running around the 3/5 of a mile track in a heat racing format that will end in a 60-lap sprint race feature. The 18-degree banked corners, along with large amount of downforce from the car, will allow for lap times under 12 seconds. In qualifying, the two drivers with the best 4-lap average time will advance to the feature, with the rest of the field taking a part in the 4-car heats. From the heats, the top 2 finishing cars will move on to the feature race, with the bottom 2 cars moving on to the consolation race. And from there, the winner will move on to the feature as well. So starting to see some times come in early on. Looks like the best 4-lap average so far been set by Derek Love with a 11.504. His fastest lap was 11.380. As they run right now, drivers still churning laps here and there. Sebastian Kidder looks like he had an incident during his qualifying run, so he will not be able to set a time. But he did have a flyer of a first lap, so unfortunately, it looks like Kinder will not be able to qualify. Have to start in the back. James Curtis jumps all the way up to second in the timing charts. He turns in 4 laps at an average of 11.736 seconds. So right now, it looks like drivers slowly but surely turning in their laps, and we're going to get set here, Connor, for some fantastic racing.
Yes, sir. I had the pleasure of racing in this series in Season 1 for about 8 races, and this car is absolutely ridiculous. There's tons of downforce due to the ground effect that Dallara helped iRacing contribute to, so I just can't wait to see these cars go around this track.
Looks like only one driver left to set a time, and that's going to be James Watson working on lap number 4 right now. As he goes through 1 and 2. Just a slight lift on entry, keeping it flat, picking up the throttle and around for his 4th and final lap, and that's good enough for Pete, number 5, at 11.684.
So it looks like we're going to have Derek Love and James Curtis move on to the feature. Derek Love is currently running for his own team, and James Curtis, I believe, is the new pickup for Team Watson Racing. So surprised to see him there in the top 2. And then Baldwin Racing Enterprises, another new team to the Dallara X-TREME Series, has 2 of their members in the bottom 3. So some room for improvement there.
Yeah, it looks like everybody, for the most part, has set a time with the exception of Andrew Acera. Everybody else set a time except for Sebastian Kinder and Chris Graham, our fearless leader over here at National Racing Network. Both of them crashed during their qualifying attempts. So just waiting a couple more moments here. Last season's champion was James Watson. You'll see him running the traditional yellow and teal and pink Team Watson Racing colors in that number 4 machine. Other drivers that you'll need to take a look out for: Derek Love and James Curtis, the 2 top qualifiers. They're in the number 1 and number 9 cars, respectively. But throughout the field, we've seen some pretty good talent returning from last season.
Yeah, my main guy to keep an eye on is Wes Shear. I think he came in 3rd for the championship standings. That was just because he was not able to run all of the races, but he was wicked fast, especially at these short tracks. So I think coming in, he should have a very fast race setup, and we should be able to see him in the feature tonight.
So the 4-lap average from Derek Love, 11.464. That puts him a couple of tenths clear of James Curtis, and that's spectacular as we get set for our first heat. They're going to be 10 minutes or 20 laps. They're going to be 3-car heats, it looks like. A little change in the format than what we were expecting.
Oh, that's interesting. Might have something to do with Andrew Serra not qualifying in iRacing, just trying to balance everything out there.
Yep, so 3 cars here in this first heat. It's the 97 of Sebastian Kinder, number 6 of Nicholas Isidoro, and the 000 of Chris Graham Jr. Graham running the couple of guys actually running that same default iRacing paint job. On my end, at least, it looks like my trading paints decided not to update for some reason. But these guys getting out there and getting ready to get after it to start off this 2021 Season 2 of Dallara X-TREME Series. These guys now working their way down the front straightaway. lights on the pace car are off, so they're going to be going green next time by, and it looks like Chris Graham's sitting back just a little bit, trying to give him some breathing room, just to make sure that he is ready to get this race rolling on the right foot. Seemed to have some struggles last season, so hopefully this is a good way to start off season 2 for him.
Yeah, and I think he's going to benefit there from being the only person in the second lane, being able to choose either to go to the high side or the low side on the start here. We saw that in the P217 race on Saturday night, so we'll see how it goes out for him.
Yeah, that P217 series is the new one here for the Dallara X-TREME Series, in addition to this IR01 League, and we're set and going underway here, and it's green so far. Everybody just kind of files in single file, and it's going to be Kinder getting off to the early jump. He's got about a 3-car length lead. Oh, and Chris Graham already into the wall. Does a complete 360, but gets the car pointing back in the right direction. That was a hard lick against the outside wall, as he is now working his way down the back straightaway. Gap starting to open up about 0.4 of a second for Kinder over Isdero. And that's going to take Graham to the pits, so it looks like his day might just be at the end of that. So it's going to be a 2-car race here between Kinder and Isdero. These guys are going to have to fight, because it looks like Kinder is already starting to pull away with it.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate wreck for Chris Graham there. And even though he was able to get to the pits, that's still going to make him lose about 5 or 6 laps just because of lapping it. Like you said earlier, under 12 seconds per lap. So even though he does have a faster pair, it's going to put him down about 5 laps, I think we're seeing right now on the scoring tower. So it'll be an easy pass for Isidro and Kinder to the feature race.
And the one thing that I'm noticing is how much lower Kinder is able to run throughout the corner. Isidro just running about a full lane or so higher than Kinder. I mean, just see how much lower he goes, especially here in turn number 3. He's going to get all the way down. He's going to get his left sides below the yellow line at times. You see how low he is, but compare that to Isidro, who is just seeming to struggle to find that pace. We'll have to see if he's got something long run, as both of these drivers just kind of churning laps out there. I believe, okay, they're both on the white tire. I believe that is the hard. I can't exactly remember how it works in iRacing, but I think that's right.
Yeah, it's the hard tire. And the way iRacing has the tire model with the IR01 is it's not based on tire wear, it's based on heat buildup in the tire, on how they grade. So the softs and the mediums, they'll lose a significant amount of grip after about 4 laps and 8 laps respectively. So for these long runs, the hard tires are going to be really the only ones that drivers will use. But if there's green-white checkered or a 5-lap shootout, you might see some drivers come on pit road and try and make a stint on mediums happen, try and have some extra grip going into the turns on those final few laps.
These guys pushing very hard. They know that they can take it easy. They're already working lap number 14 now. And man, these laps just really fly by. It's amazing how fast these cars can turn a 3/8 of a mile oval. And they're just absolutely flying here. 12 seconds left. The gap is open to about 2.5 seconds. So absolutely no fight going to be coming from Sebastian Kinder. Meanwhile, it's going to be, Kinder just absolutely running away with it. Meanwhile, Isidro just holding on for dear life, knowing he's going to make the final. We'll have to see how that plays out as we get set for the feature here in just a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these guys line up on the grid with their. I think they're in 3 heats, so it'll be interesting to see how they position up on the grid. Looks
there
like
you see Graham up high, just staying out of the way of everybody else. Doesn't want to cause any issues for these guys. It's going to be too late for him to make up the laps anyway. He is 3 laps behind both Kinder and Isidro, so he'd be too late to try to pull any dirty moves there.
It will be interesting to see with the Sebastian Kinder being part of Team Watson Racing. They do share their setups quite a bit, so it'll be interesting to see if the other TWR racers will be able to run that same line and be as effective as Kinder as we go into the next heats.
Yep, they started 1, 2, and 3, and that's the same way that they will finish Kinder, followed by Isidro, then Graham Jr. And then getting set for heat number 2, it looks like it's going to be Timothy Watson on the pole with Wes Shire on the outside with Robert Drew right there wrapping up the 3 cars in heat number 2. You guys start to get their way off of pit road. Timothy Watson qualified with an 11.812. It's going to be right on the inside of Wes Shire with 11.917. Robert Drew right there as well, just 3 1,000ths of a second off of Shire's time at second, 1.003 seconds off of Shire's time. I was only looking at the decimals there, but he turned in a 12.920, so just taking it easy for qualifying there from Robert Drew. But Watson and Shire on the front row here.
Seems like we're going to get treated to a nice little 3-wide loop down the front stretch before the start of this second heat race.
These guys know how to have their fun out here. They know what this series is all about, and I think for the most part in all of TNT, about 5 of the 10 rules are going to be have fun and don't take it too seriously. These guys doing their best to make things look good out there. Shout out to Simon Fell over in the YouTube chat. Talk about how he was surprised not to see Wes any higher, but the pace car coming down to pit road as we get set for heat number 2 here to start off the DXS season here from Nashville Fairgrounds. Green flag flies and a huge jump on the outside. Wes Shire trying to get the move done, taking the very top lane that he possibly can. He's going to get clear. And Robert Drew already struggling, losing a ton of time. These guys up front, if they just can keep building the gap to Robert Drew, they're going to be able to qualify on their own. Wes running way up in the marbles. I am surprised to see a car handling that high up the track.
I think he's trying to repeat that success he had on the start goal, but I think the tires have already dictated that they don't have enough grip to keep running that high, so I think he's just going to get down and just try and follow in the gap here.
Yeah, that radius on the top lane is so much farther than if you were to take the inside down on the yellow line. But the other thing is all the marbles that build up over the course of the race. You can kind of see them building up on your screen. Just up against that wall, they're building up pretty quick. But Robert Drew doing his best to hold on to the top. Chris Graham asking if he can get a black flag clear. Chris, I don't think that's going to be possible unless you got a pit speeding penalty on your way in. But with that much damage to your car, I'm not sure you're able to do that. But still, Timothy Watson out in front. West trying to make things interesting on the outside, but unable to do so. Both of those guys looking to transfer through. Robert Drew about a second off Shire right now. We're only 5 laps in.
Yeah, hopefully Robert Drew can get up to Wes Shire and try and make a pass here, but we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to end up getting up there.
Yeah, he's just consistently losing time. His fastest lap is 12.372. That's 2/10 slower than Shire's fastest lap. Guys running considerably slower here in the heat race compared to qualifying. Of course, the heavier fuel and the different tires that are on their car definitely dictating that. By the way, something else, Robert Drew made the mistake of putting on the red tires. We talked about that just in the first heat race, but running the red tires are definitely going to be killing his time throughout this race. Do we have updated points? Yes, Chris, we do. Everybody has 0 right now.
Yeah, running those red tires, that is going to be a huge mistake for Robert. Hopefully he'll be able to fix that for the consolation race, as the winner of that race can advance to the feature, but we'll see if he'll be able to do that and have a little bit of a wiser tire choice in the reds there.
1.5 seconds the gap between Watson and Shire. Then it's another 3 seconds or so back to Robert Drew. Shire seeming to struggle just a little bit. I'm looking on the relative, and he's losing a ton of time now. I'm not sure if he's just overcooked his tires, pushing too hard or what, but he is absolutely struggling. Went from 1.5 to now 2.4 seconds, the gap between them. I'm showing on my relative about 2 seconds, it looks like, on the official timing scoring, so we'll stick with that for now. But Watson well in front of Shire, and True just well off the pace.
Yep, coming up here on 3 to go. We'll see if West can just maintain that gap to Drew and just ease it in here to the finish. You want to make sure you don't hit a wall, because even if you just lightly tap it, that can easily add another half second to the lap. So.
And you talk about he just did it down the back straight. It looked like it might have just been a glancing blow, possibly some net code, but he keeps things pointed the right direction. West Shire with coming to the white flag for him. Timothy Watson well out in front. It's going to be Watson, then Shire, and then Robert Drew here as they take the white flag. And down the back, oh, big wiggle there from Timothy Watson. He's going to come around turns 3 and 4 for the final time. All the flashbulbs in the stands. And then it's going to be West Shire taking the second spot here in heat number 2.
Yep, ended up being, I think, 4-second gap at the end from West to Drew there. So we'll see how that ends up playing out for the consolation race. See if Drew can pick up some extra pace and see if he can make it into that feature race.
The tires were the big thing. West Shire as well, just looks like trying to push too hard at the end. I'm not sure it was completely worth it, just kind of trying to make up as much ground as he could, but getting set now for heat number 3, and we're going to see our first season, the inaugural champion, make his debut here in season number 2. James Watson sitting on the pole. He's going to be on the inside of the number 24 machine of Drew White, running that Baldwin Agroland Aero Info Dallara IR01. And row number 2, sitting all by his lonesome, is the 5 of Andrew Acera. Not sure if he's going to even be running. He did not set a time in qualifying, but he is, looks like he is loaded into the session. So looks like we might just have a 2-car race on our hands here for heat number 3.
Yeah, if he's not going to be racing, that will be an easy transition to the feature for James Watson and Drew White. They'll just be able to sit back and relax for those 20 laps and maybe get a feel for the track and how it's going to act in the feature race.
Yeah, I think this is going to be big for these guys, knowing that they're guaranteed to advance. They can kind of try new things, experiment just a little bit. Of course, you still want to do your best and kind of, find as much time as you can out there, and you want to try to start as far up the field as you can. But if you're only going to lose a couple of spots from finishing first to finishing second, why not try an experimental line? Maybe get a little more aggressive with the throttle, see what you can and can't do every single lap. As these guys come across the line to go 1 to go here for heat number 3 as we get set for heat number 3 of 3, and then we'll move on to our consolation race. Looks like we have confirmation Andrew is the live admin tonight, so he is going to be dictating cautions and everything of the sort, and not going to be racing here in tonight's event to start the season. Pace car starts to work its way down towards pit road, a very tricky pit road to get to under green. Just the way that wall cuts in between turns 3 and 4 is very hard to get right. And the green flag is out. James Watson with a good jump holds the bottom line, and he is going to get clear very early on. But it is a little bit of a wiggle there from Watson. Drew White trying to fight back on the inside, can't do it, gonna get caught up now. Robert Drew confirming made it 20 laps on the sauce, but it was a struggle. So unfortunate to see there, but these guys making things really interesting early on. Drew White, of course, we talked about trying to run a different line. He is way up the corner. Meanwhile, James Watson just holding about half a lane from the yellow, and he is just kind of logging laps out there and already building a little bit of a gap from him to Drew White.
Seems like running that high line on the first maybe 2 or 3 laps of the feature race might come in handy to try and steal a position or 2, but after that it seems like the tires wear off and you can't really do anything. Let's bring in James Curtis, who advanced directly from from qualifying to the feature race. James, how confident are you going into this feature race without having any heat racing under your belt?
Well, yeah, I would have liked to got one heat race in my belt. This is my first DXS race ever, so we'll see how it goes. I do like starting on the outside lane, though. I think that's probably where you want to be on this track.
And it looks like, just kind of the first couple laps, we were just talking about it. The tires kind of, when they're still fresh, you can make the move. But as they kind of wear in, it might be beneficial to get to the bottom. I think you're going to be able to get the throttle up, pick it up early enough to get the spot and kind of run away with things from the get-go.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan. We'll see what Love has, though. His qualifying setup is really quick, so if this race setup's just as fast, it's going to be really tough to get him off the start.
Well, hey, we're in for a fantastic season here in DXS. We appreciate you joining us up here in the booth.
Thanks, guys.
That's James Curtis, one of the top 2 qualifiers going straight into the feature. He qualified with a 11.755. That was good for second best overall. So James Watson still leads Drew White by about 2 seconds or so now. And those 2 guys are both going to transfer directly into the feature. So it's going to be 8 cars there, if not 9 from the consolation. But man, you guys not making it easy on themselves. Both of them fighting very hard, just trying different things. A little throttle manipulation from James Watson being used. And man, these cars, when you can get them side by side, they don't like to handle the best. They're very aero sensitive. Talk about all the ground effect, all the downforce on them, but man, they're not easy to run in close quarters here, especially on short ovals.
Yeah, the speed and some issues with the netcode can make it very difficult to run side by side. We saw that at Dover in Season 1, where we had some issues of pretty bad netcode, where I think our live admin Andrew Sarah even got launched into the stands at Dover over the catch fence. So hopefully when we go side by side here tonight, we'll be able to keep it a lot more straight. We're also using the old damage model on the IRO1 rather than the new damage model to try and help alleviate some of the netcode issues that have come forth with the IRO1.
Guys now working 3 laps to go. Drew Knight just about 4.2 seconds back at the line. So there's no way he's going to be able to catch James Watson unless James completely boggles his last couple of laps here. But Watson making it look easy here, trying to defend his championship from last season. He's across the stripe for the white flag as he's got 1 more lap to win his heat here. And so taking the checkered for heat number 2, or heat number 3 is James Watson, then Drew White. Both looking like they're going to advance to the main event here. So it looks like we are then going to have no consolation. Everybody looks like they're advancing through to the feature. So we thought that there might be some issues with the field size and whatnot, but we're going to have, it looks like, 10 cars for the feature. Man, these guys going to have a full field and a lot of fun out there tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see a full 10-car field. I believe that's why they did the heat race in the way it was, to try and keep the field size limited because of some of the netcode issues. But with a full 10 cars, it'll be hard and close racing here. Oh, as a huge wreck for Timothy Watson in practice and warm-up. I think he's just messing around here, getting ready.
Yeah, he was flipping all over from the outside wall to the middle of the track. He's got some damage now, limping around, missing his front wing, missing his rear wing, missing just about everything that could fall off of that car. But here's the replay. Yep, just swerving up into the outside wall, and spectacular 8 flips, 7 rolls, and a 1080 spin. So making it look a ton of fun and barely avoiding contact there was another car. It might have been Derek Love. Not entirely sure on that one. It's going to be Derek Love and James Curtis starting on your front row. And these guys are going to have a ton of fun. These guys just trying to go for spectacular crashes here in practice.
It will be interesting to see how much the track is going to wear in I heard from the drivers before we started the broadcast that the track, as it got on, was getting more and more tight. So we might see some wrecks, especially with the tires going off and worn, as we go on, as James absolutely spins and flips. I think that was Derek Love. As the race and the feature race goes on, track is getting tighter and tighter, so we may see some wall banging and some possible upsets here as we go on.
By the way, I have to say I love James Curtis running that green and yellow Sundrop car. He does run a Surge car over in the Tuesday Night Thunder series on Tuesday nights in the PM18s on ovals. So definitely keeping the soda theme going throughout all of his race cars and looking darn good doing it. So that's gonna be your outside slitter and somebody upside down into the fence there. Not sure how you end up facing that direction, but that guardrail, that must be right in the driver's face at the moment.
Yep, luckily this is all virtual racing and nothing real. I'm sure that would have been a trip to the medical center if it was in real life.
That is Robert Drew, who finished third in the second heat. He's going to start shotgun on the field, the 10th position. Andrew Acera all the way at the back. Andrew Acera actually not going to race. When you talk about him, your live admin. Talk about the role of the live admin here, Connor. It's going to be manually called cautions. What's going to determine whether one needs to be brought out or not?
So for normally on the bigger tracks, it'll be that there's just a wreck somewhere in the pack, or there's a car stopped and the leaders are coming up on them. But for this heat racing, because it is so close and the cars are lapping so quickly, I think pretty much any wreck we see is going to bring out a caution. So hopefully the drivers can keep it straight here, so we're not just pacing around for most of the 60 laps.
Let's take a look at your full field rundown here. It's going to be Derek Love on the pole, outside of row number 1, James Curtis, and Sebastian Kinder and Timothy Watson, row number 2. James Watson and Nicholas Isidro on row number 3. Then Wes Shire and Drew White. Chris Graham and Robert Drew wrapping up the field, and both of those guys really seem to struggle. Hopefully everybody decided to go with their white tires here, as it looks like Robert Drew did make the change.
Yep, and with the track tightening up as the race goes on, we might see a very late wreck, which will bring some cars in down pit road to maybe get a new pair of medium or soft tires. So that might be a strategy as the race goes on.
Medium and soft tires, and with as fast as you have to lap this track, and kind of how fast it might be coming up on the track, probably a new pair of underwear depending on where the wreck happens as well.
Yes, and with the new damage model these cars are on, some of those wrecks can involve lots of flipping and bouncing, so there is always the possibility of just driving or something.
Flash bulbs going off all over the stands. Fans are excited for this one. We are excited as well. We get set for the first feature race of the season number 2 here in the Dallara X-TREME Series, featuring the IR01. We of course have the new Saturday Night Series with the Dallara LMP2 as well. That's going to be a fun one to watch all season as well. But these guys are going to have a ton of fun as we get set to take the green here from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. As the pace car pulls away, we get set for you guys' first opportunity to crank it up here from Nashville as the green flag is out and we are underway. we talked to James Curtis just a couple of moments ago. He talked about how he wanted to get the high line to work, and he didn't have to do much to make it work. Derek Love looks like he might have missed a shift or short shifted on the start because he dropped back like a rock, almost got swarmed by a couple of cars, but James Curtis out to about a 1 second lead already. He's just absolutely flying out there.
One of the main issues with these cars when it starts is that there's so much horsepower. There is a lot of things, especially in season 1, people get caught up with that. I think it was Gary DeMoss doing a nice little Hudson Horton split at the start. But yeah, that may have been one of the issues so far back now.
Closest battle on track right now is for the third position. That's James Watson looking to the inside of Sebastian Kinder. Both of these guys, of course, very familiar to these parts, common faces in the 2-0 series. It looks like it's going to be James Watson getting that spot. And we've got a wreck down the back. It's Drew White as well as Chris Graham.
That is an unfortunate end for their nights. They do have a backup car. Let's go take a look at the replay here.
Oh, and Derek Love spins under caution.
Oh,
he's got some damage to the front of his car as well.
Ton of people have crashed here. Hang on, let's go to this replay here.
There's the replay that we saw there of Graham. This is Derek Love. We're gonna have to see what happened to him because it was on the front stretch where those two cars were stopped, and he slowed down. And it looks like Watson just did not slow down for the caution. Was not expecting that. Wow.
Seems like everyone was able to make it through easily after that, except for James. So we'll see if Derek Love has to take his fast repair here to fix. Yeah, it looks like he doesn't have a rear wing.
He doesn't have the rear wing. The front wing is all printed up. I'd have to expect Watson to have to take one as well. He has to be missing at least a couple of parts on that car.
Yeah, definitely. Now that we're back live, looking at the pit lane here, we got Derek Love, Drew White, James Watson all coming down the pit road.
And that was unfortunate early wreck there, taking out the 000 of Chris Graham. Drew White involved in some later contact as well. Robert Drew down pit road, Derek Love, James Watson. Plenty of cars working their way down pit road now.
Yes, these racers do have one fast repair, so looks like James just took the fast repair, no tires. He was able to get out in front of Derek Love there, but now they have to play it extra safe. Can't get wrecked again, otherwise their race will be done.
Now we're only 11 laps into this one. These guys have a long way to go. Another car now working their way down pit road. That's Nick Cedro. Maybe forgot to take fuel, but he pitted on the second lap around. Not always the wisest move, because what that's going to do is shuffle him all the way to the back. So on the restart, it's going to be Curtis, then Kinder, Watson, Timothy Watson, then James Watson, Derek Love, West Shire, and then Robert Drew, Chris Graham and Drew White both out there one lap down. So it looks like the lights still on the pace car. I expect them to be off here probably the next time by.
Yep. Thankfully, with the new admin controls that iRacing put in, along with this being a nice little short track, the pace laps are going to be very short and sweet, so we'll be able to get back racing quick. But I think how fast these cars are it's really underestimated. I mean, on the Crank It Up, they were just flying by, and when that wreck came out, we had already gotten, I think, 8 or 9 laps done, and it just felt like 2 minutes. So
Base car getting set to pull in. Saw some trouble for a couple guys spinning the tires on the restart. We're going to have to make sure James Curtis does not do the same. He goes early. He pulls away, and he's got a great jump on the field. And then it's going to be Kinder Watson and then James Watson. James looking to the inside of Timothy Watson there. I don't believe there is any relation, but maybe you could confirm that one. And these guys having a ton of fun up there.
no relation, but there's often confusion with James on who's talking to him.
And man, Watson just absolutely slammed the door on Watson. And that's going to be Derek Love now looking to get another spot back. He's pounding Timothy Watson now. All the way, oh, he gets the outside wall, cuts all the way across to the inside. He's able to keep things pointed in the right direction. So that should not bring out a caution. He's going to be rolling around the apron, going to lose a couple of laps here. You see him kind of crab walking down the back straightaway. But nobody else, thankfully, involved in that one. We got a fight now for the second spot. Sebastian Kinder and James Watson going at it hard, as they're about 0.2 of a second between them.
Yeah, even there you can see just how dangerous that pit entrance is. The cars of Sebastian Kinder and James Watson are fighting now almost hit Watson as he's coming out.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room there on pit entry for you to pit a car as well as have a car running the inside right behind you. And James Watson absolutely wants that second spot. He wants it now. He's all over that back wing of Sebastian Kinder for the second spot.
Oh, big contact there from Kinder.
Yeah, Kinder's weaving all down the front straight, trying to feel out if there's any damage to that race car. He's going to lose 2 spots on that one. So it's going to be Curtis, then Watson. Now it's going to be Love, then Kinder. Unfortunate contact there. It looks like he's driving it a little too hard on entry was Watson. As he slid up the track into Kinder. Kinder looks to be okay. He's going behind Love and Watson now. He's not going to feel the pace from Shire. Caution down front. There was a car upside down the back straightaway. Not sure who that was.
Drew right on the track. Or sorry, Robert.
Taking a look here at the replay, just catching the apron on entry and then trying to just stay out of everybody else's way. Nice little pirouette. Great avoidance there by James Curtis, swerving all the way down to the inside.
And James Watson managed to avoid him that time. As we got, I think,
just about everybody coming now to pit road. Curtis is in, Watson in, Love, Kinder, Shire. Everybody on the lead lap is now working their way down pit road.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the plan is here. I'm sure they will stick with the hard tires and maybe just take a splash of fuel to get them to the end here. I don't see anyone taking this off for the medium tires. I think it's too early and too risky here.
Sebastian Kinder missing his pit box. He's going to take tires and fuel, but missing his pit box, he's going to lose a ton of time on that one. It looks like just about everybody in the same window in terms of how long they were stationary, with the exception of Drew White. Drew is now back on the lead lap, stayed out that time, so he's going to be running 7th position, the first car last car on the lead lap.
Yes, and now Chris Graham and I think Robert Drew is still in the pit lane. I think he might be done, but Christopher Graham, now that he has his lap back, actually no, I think he's still a lap down. Sorry, but he's now on pit lane.
Yep, he had to just wait 1 lap longer to get back down pit road. First lap is always lead lap cars. Second lap is going to allow the lap cars to come down and get their stop, making sure it's not too congested, but these guys now working their way off pit road. Chris Graham now in the 8th position. Robert Drew, he is now 4 laps down. He's got some work to do. He's right there with Timothy Watson, 6 laps down after having to crawl back to his pit stall.
And it looks like that's Timothy Watson leading the field, so he will get waved around as the lights on the pace car are still on. So I think he'll get waved around the pace car and head to the back of the field the next time by.
And James Watson's looked very racy early on. He's got James Curtis right in front of him, so he's going to have a very hotly contested fight on his hands. It's going to depend on who can get the better jump and how well James Watson can time it. James versus James battling right now for 1 and it's first and second positions at the field as they work their way now. Lap 28 out of 60, approaching halfway. Lights on the pace car. And now also to be waved around the field is that Drew White?
I think he's going to stay at the head of the field and be pushed to the inside, as I believe the lap cars all go to the inside line here on the results.
Old school NASCAR rules. That's one way to do it. It's going to be them fighting to get their laps back. The only guy really get back on the lap is Chris Graham. Huge jump. The working down to the inside. They stay out of the way. 3 are clear. Westshire taken all the way to the high line. Robert Drew said he seemed just overheated after he got into the pit. So unfortunately, that Westshire almost into the wall coming off of turn number 2.
Yeah,
Man,
James
your leader's just going at it hard right now. You look at James Watson all over the gearbox of James Curtis.
Yeah, he's a really good start there. Let's see if he can keep up as these tires come in. Like I said, he might get affected by that dirty air, but he seems to be able to close the gap on
Yeah, running in the dirty air, you want to try to get as much clean air onto that nose as you can. I'm surprised to see Watson running where he is. He's right in the tires of Curtis instead of trying to get some clean air on there. So, but Robert Drew has just disconnected from the session. Unfortunate to see there. Man, these guys are just running absolutely flat out. 12.4 seconds last lap for Westshire. Fastest lap of the race was turned not long ago by the number 1 machine of Derek Love. He's up into the 3rd spot now after some early troubles. So 11.967, the fastest lap of the race. Meanwhile, he's turning a 12.744. Absolutely flying by the laps, ticking up one by one. Shout out to Ziggy over in the track, in the chat. He said he was thinking about buying this one. Man, you have to join us for some fun racing here. While it is a competition, it is a league, it's also all about having fun at the same time. So, don't be afraid to join us here for some Dallara X-TREME Series racing. It is always a fun time running with some of these guys. And it looks like Derek Love is caught right back up to James Watson.
Yeah, and while we were talking, Sebastian Kinder was able to make a move on Nicholas Ezekiel there to get back up into 4th place after being moved by James Watson. So he looks like he doesn't have too much damage. He's able to trying to get back up to 4th place.
I believe he might have taken his fresh car when he worked his way down to the last time, but not too many guys making a ton of moves right now. A lot of single file racing. Your leader of the race actually at the moment, James Watson going from 5th to 2nd for the most part. Everybody else that's making moves is making them in the wrong direction, because a couple of guys are going spot moves right now. Timothy Watson currently some 7 laps down. He went from 4th to 9th. James Curtis started on the outside of the front row and he's led just about every lap thus far. James Watson right there wants to lead at some point, and hopefully the last lap for him. He is your champion from season number 1, and he's absolutely flying. And it's interesting to watch the gaps here, because he'll close up, Watson will to Curtis, and then Love starts to pressure him, and then they kind of drop back a little bit. Now they're strung out with like about a half a second gap from 1st to 2nd, from 2nd to 3rd. And they have plenty of room out the back just to kind of breathe and take their time, not feel any pressure to lose their spots on the podium.
Yeah, as we get close to 10 laps to go, just one simple mistake is just so huge for the guy behind you being able to get back up, because, I mean, these laps are clicking down so fast, and I think there might be trouble for Kinder. He looks like he's lost 2 places, and it looks like he's pitting in here. So let's go to the replay here. Maybe. Oh, that's on Cedra.
So it looks like the contact had already happened there. It was out of, it looked like turn number 4 for Kinder. Unfortunate to see. Just looks like maybe some contact with the outside wall.
Now Nicholas Cedra is into the pits along with Kinder, so I don't know, maybe there was some contact there, but
It was a single car incident for Kinder. He got into the outside wall coming off of turn 4 on his own. He now works his way out of the pit lane. Sitting 2 laps down. I think it's going to be 3 this time by the stripe. And that hurts to see if you're Sebastian Kinder. He was running so well up there in the second spot and unfortunately got moved. And he's battling right there with some of the leaders. Derek Love, next car behind them. So just unfortunate time for him to catch these guys. And it's going to be Curtis. Oh, wow. Watson absolutely clipping the apron hard. Chris Graham now, he's got some damage there trying to stay out of the way. And these lap cars just wreaking havoc for your leaders because Watson had a chance to make a move on Curtis. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case.
Looks like Kinder got in the way of James Watson there. Maybe a little bit of frustration there from Kinder. Oh, as he pushes up James.
Kinder on the fresher tires, able to absolutely just fly right past your leader, getting one of his laps back. He now sits 2 laps down. The only other car on his lap is going to be Chris Graham. He's just lost his second. So he's got some time to make up, but he's going to run out of time to do it. 3 laps to go now. And this race is absolutely flown by. With 3 laps to go, it's still James leading James. Curtis still in front of Watson and Derek Love in third. And those lap cars really strung things out for the front 3. 6/10 a second now the gap. It's Curtis, Watson, Love, and Flower, 4 cars on the lead lap. Then Drew White, Chris Graham is in 6th spot, sitting 2 laps down. And Kinder absolutely on a charge. Nick Isidro still has he has set the fastest lap of the race at 11.848, but he is now well off the pace. White flag now is out. Sorry, checkered flag is out. I lose track of how fast these guys are flying around this track. It's going to be James Curtis getting the win.
Absolute domination there from James. Qualified P2. He may have tried to do that on purpose just so we can have that outside line and take the lead there. And looks like we'll be able to see a burnout from him. But I think he led every single lap. He just absolutely dominated from start to finish tonight.
Yeah, such a fantastic show from these guys. Great way to start off the season, especially for James Curtis. He talked about it. It was his debut race here in DXS, and that's how you want to start things off. Such a fun time, as we do have every week here in the Dallara X-TREME Series. Absolutely burn it down, James. You can get a new car next week.
Hopefully we can get some guys into the waiting room here so we can pull them in for an interview. Let's go to Derek Love here, your 3rd place finisher. Derek, you seem to be able to recover well there. What was your key there to recovering?
Just trying to hold it together. We had a fast car tonight. I felt like a little too fast on the start, so we spun off the initial and getting run over under a caution lap. Just never see in a race.
And working your way up through the field was certainly fun to watch. You had the pace. Talk about what happened towards the end of the race. So you guys caught lap cars at just the worst possible time and in the worst possible way.
Yeah, by the time we caught them, in my position, it really wasn't a factor. I wasn't going to capitalize on it. They already made it through, so I just took my time getting through them.
And race number 1, any tracks you're looking forward to the rest of the way coming up here in DXS?
Haven't even looked.
Well, perfect, man. It's all about having fun here in that sphere, 1 race at a time. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish, and we will hopefully see you next week.
Definitely. Thanks.
That's Derek Love, your 3rd place finisher here from tonight's race. Next going to be joined by, we'll start with your 2nd place finisher, James Watson. James, what a fantastic race from you. It looks like maybe a little bit of contact caught in some controversy, but I mean, you did your best the entire race.
Yeah, I gotta apologize to Derek. I don't really know what happened with that. I was looking up at the smoke trying to gauge what was going on, and by the time I looked back, Derek was like stopped, and I tried to jink out of the way, but it was a little too late.
And then you seem to move Sebastian Kinder there at the early stages of the race. You seem to move him out of the way, and then he came back and he obstructed you, and then he obstructed James. Was there any team orders going on there, or what?
No, I was letting him by because he was on faster tires when he came out of the pits. It just got all jumbled up with us trying to deal with the lap traffic on tires. Yeah, I feel like we're gonna see a lot more instances like that as the season goes on with the short tracks because it's so hard to pass. It's so hard to gauge where exactly you are that you're kind of. But reviewing that, that was actually netcode too because there's like a foot of space off of me and Seb's car when I make contact. So I think that just may be something we have to contend with here.
And I say next week we've got the Daytona Dash going on, but not from Daytona International. We're going to New Smyrna. What are your thoughts on another short track back to back?
Well, it's going to be fun because this was a blast of a race. It's going to be same amount of fun, just hopefully a little less chaos now that we have a little more experience in the short track on the car.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun, man, and congratulations on your second place finish. Anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs for you?
Yeah, as always, gotta thank ZAS Designs for putting up with my paint schemes. Gotta thank Chris Graham and NRN. I gotta thank Gary Gotso and Velocity Online Racing for coming on board with us for a bit of a technical alliance in DSX and a few other leagues. And potentially a new sponsor here coming up here soon. May have some news to announce here within the next few days.
Well, hey, we'll keep an eye out for those announcements, and congratulations on your second place finish.
Thank you.
And one final interview to get through tonight as we get ready to wrap up the show, and that's with the winner making his debut here in the Dallara X-TREME Series. James, I mean, what can you say? But that's the perfect way you want to start off your career here in DXS.
Yeah, that was great. I got a really good jump there at the start. I think Derek spun his tires a bit there. So I was able to get into first and just kind of hold it the entire time. I felt pretty comfortable most of the race until the end whenever I got back to the back markers. And then I had a few rocket flashbacks there. But I got by him and was able to hold on.
It was a ton of fun to watch you. This car not usually designed to run on ovals. What are your thoughts in your first competitive experience with it?
Oh, it's runs better on ovals than it does on street courses, that's for sure.
It's been a ton of fun to watch it, especially this first race for you and the first race of the second season. Looking forward. We've got New Smyrna, and then we go to Texas in 2 weeks. You looking forward to more of the short tracks or the longer tracks here?
Yeah, well, I like the short tracks. Even in the TNT series with the PM18s, I think the short tracks are a little bit more my specialty. It's a little more of a driver's track. I think Texas is going to be more trying to be smart with your drafting and just stay out of trouble.
What's the inspiration there between the you got the Surge livery over in TNT and you got the Sundrop here? You're just keeping with sodas?
Yeah, well, the Surge worked out so good. I figure I'd try my hand with another soda, stick with the green livery, and I think it's loud and obnoxious. It's pretty great.
I mean, it seemed to pay off. It worked out for you.
Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to stick with it.
Well, hey, what a great way to start off your career in DXS. And who helped get you here? Anybody you want to thank?
Well, hey, shout out to Team Watson Racing. So I'm racing with them this season. Shout out to everybody that's watching on the stream. It's a fun series, and it's only going to get better from here.
Congratulations on the win tonight, and we look forward to seeing you the rest of the way.
All right, thanks, Chad.
That's James Curtis, winner here tonight of the Music City 50 from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Let's wrap things up here, Connor. Any final thoughts on the race?
Yeah, it was absolutely dominated by Curtis. I think he did a great job putting together a setup, and with New Smyrna being so much like Nashville here, it'll be interesting to see if he can continue this into next race and build in very early points lead over everybody else. And looking at the team points, it looks like Team Watson Racing, I think the San Jose division actually pulled out on an early lead on the other one. They had Timothy Watson and James Curtis on that team. And then the normal TWR team with Sebastian Kinder and James Watson West had a they may have had a better race there, and then Baldwin Racing Enterprises off to a rough start with Robert Drew and Nicholas Isidro and Drew White all finishing near the bottom half. So it'll be looking already to a very interesting points run here.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race to watch and a great way to start off season 2 here of DXS. And it's certainly going to be a fun one to watch the rest of the way. But that's going to wrap things up here. James Curtis gets the win to start off season 2. And we have to thank, of course, everybody that helps put this show on. Of course, Connor, you did a great job producing tonight. And you can't do it without the big boss man himself, Chris Graham. Not the best race for him, but he still wound up with a 6th place finish. So great showing there from Team NRN as well. But for everybody here at the National Racing Network, and for everybody, have to thank all of you guys watching back at home. But this was a fun race to watch, and we'll see more next Monday night from New Smyrna. For everybody here at National Racing Network, I'm Chad Irvine. We'll see you next week.